Hello my friends, what is happening? My name is Jamie Dean and welcome to another gaming pickups video right here on Sidescrollin. I have a pile of stuff here next to me that I've managed to scrape together off of eBay. All sorts of bits and pieces this week, lots of good pickups, but we're not going to get to look at them as long as I'm sitting here running my mouth. Let's get on it. Alright, so if you've been watching these already, you can tell we're doing something a little bit different this time. I'm splitting out my eBay and in-person game hunting for two reasons. Number one, I'm just trying to keep the videos down to a more digestible length. Number two, I don't always manage to get out game hunting in person, as was the case this week. So I only have eBay pickups, but every Sunday I should still have an eBay video for you to see what I found online for the week. Very PC heavy week this week, so let's get on into it. I've got some good stuff this week, yeah, a lot of PC oriented stuff. Let's kick it off with the first one, which was Total War Shogun 2. So this is a game that is probably my next most played Total War game after Rome Total War. I also played a couple of the other iterations of the game, but I certainly got on with this one the best after Rome. You can see the back of the case there. Yeah, really good game. Really liked this one. It was interesting that this one, even though it was a more condensed map, obviously you're only fighting in Japan rather than, you know, a quarter of the planet. This one didn't feel small. Do you know what I mean? Like there was still enough provinces and things going on that it didn't feel like a slimmed down version of Total War, to me anyway. But it had some really neat ideas. There's the inside. So we got a manual. We've got both discs. See if I can do this one-handed. Well, hey, there we go. Really good condition. I think the only issues with this one, as you can probably see, is that there was a sticker in the top right hand corner that someone's had a go at removing, and it's left a bit of an indentation, but that's fine. $3 this cost me. This one set me back, so you know I'm not going to complain about that. And other than that, it's in really good condition. The discs are in great condition. The manual's in good condition. Yeah, great game. Really like Total War Shogun 2. Was this where they introduced assassinations into the game? Was that in the game before Shogun? I can't remember. I know maybe it's the one where if it was in the game beforehand, then this is the one where I started actually focusing on that a little bit more. But yeah, just a great setting, a great period of history. Once again, like Rome Total War, I learned an awful lot playing this game, which was fantastic. Everything I loved about Rome, but in the Japanese setting. I didn't like it quite as much as I liked Rome. I think just because the ancient history setting, the way that encapsulated so many more like nations of the world at the time, I enjoyed that a bit more. But this one was still a winner, still one I wanted to get for my shelf, and for the princely sum of $3, now I have it to sit there. So that's pick number one. Number two, let's set that one aside for a second. We'll come back to that. Number two is another weird pick of mine, because it is sort of along the same lines of the Uncharted games sitting behind me just here. If you watched that video, I talked about how even though I've got very good memories and very nostalgic for those games, I've never actually played them myself. I've watched them be played, watched playthroughs of them, movies made out of the cutscenes and gameplay strung together on YouTube. I've watched that over and over again, so I just love the stories. This is a little bit in the same category. I have played this game though, but just not to the extent that I have watched playthroughs of it, which I've done countless times. And that is a modern classic. I think it's not unfair to say, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So this one is the PC box set. There's the back cover there. And as you can see, it comes with two game cases inside this cardboard sleeve cover. So we'll get those out. They both just have the same cover, which is a little bit of a shame. First one is just has the first 3 game discs as well as the manual, all absolutely pristine. I don't know that this has ever been opened or played. Whoa, come on, you can do it. There we go. So they're all there. They all look brand new. The whole thing looks brand new. The game cases, even the slipcover looks brand new. The second case has disc 4, but it also has the soundtrack for the game, as well as a few other little goodies that I'll pull out here. We have a map of the world, which I won't fully unfold because it's quite large, but I might be able to get it. Yep, I can. There we go. Look at that. So you'll be no doubt familiar with this if you've played this version of the game. There's a couple of stickers, which is cool, as well as just a little message from CG Project Red to you, the buyer. But yeah, again, all there, all basically untouched, as far as I can tell. Again, not sure if this was maybe an unwanted gift or a purchase that was thought about and decided that they don't need it. Maybe they had the digital version. You can see the track list of the soundtrack on the back of that case there. But yeah, I absolutely adore The Witcher. I was a fan of the books before the games. The Last Wish, I think that's what the first one's called, if I remember rightly, is one of my absolute favorite collection of stories ever. Really, really enjoy the books. Got into, I think I played a little bit of The Witcher 2. Didn't really like the game. I found it a bit clunky to play. Wasn't my favorite game ever. I didn't stick with it for terribly long. But The Witcher 3 certainly cleaned things up, and I didn't actually get around to playing The Witcher 3 for some time after its release. But by the time I got around to actually playing it, whether I had a PC that was able to run it, I'd already watched playthroughs of it, 4 or 5 times by then, just because I love the story so much. So I didn't stick with the game itself very long because it was, it felt like playing through things that I'd already seen. But I'm okay with that. That's fine because I adore the story all the same. So there we go. The Witcher Wild Hunt, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Another PC game for the shelf that I'm very happy to have with some lovely memories attached. All right, this next one, I've said before that I already have this game on the shelf, but if I found the PC version, that I would absolutely be trying to track that down. Surprisingly difficult to find the PC version of this game, and I'm going to try and show it to you without everything falling out, and that is Grand Theft Auto 5. One of my favorites. So this game, right? This game reminds me why I love physical media, right? Because this is like a chunky box. There's a big, hefty amount of stuff in here, and it's just fantastic, just looking through it all. So we've got there's two sleeves in here. The first one is just a narrow little thing that has, if we fold it out, a GTA Online leaflet, which, we're never going to use. This map I'm not going to fold out, but it has an enormous map of Los Santos. I'll just unfold a little bit for you there. There we go. As well as, what do we got here? Just installation instructions and a little leaflet there. So that's all in that little sort of cardboard fold-out wallet with the Rockstar logo. It all just folds away in there. Now, the other, and you'll probably be seeing I'll put some footage over the top now of the actual game case, because, this is it, man. This is why I just adore the physical medium, because you miss out on stuff like this. Look at that. Look at the discs. The array of artwork, this is a piece of art. This is a collection of art. And I miss the days where this was a thing that you could look forward to opening and poring over and looking through. The case itself even is pretty awesome. It's got the GTA logo on the front, our boy Trevor on the back. We've got the other fellas, whoop, there they are, in the middle. And then as you saw on the footage, I won't fold it out here because it's enormous, but we've got all of the discs with all of their lovely artwork. And again, something that I've said before with other collections of discs, like multi-disc games, all different artwork on all the discs. Like, how awesome did that look? Take note, other developers, please. Oh, I mean, you know, not that we're going to have to worry about physical fucking copies of PC games anymore, really. It's not much of a thing these days. The best we can hope for is sort of a code in a box, but unfortunately that's the case. Yet I still managed to track this one down. Yeah, really happy I found that. That was a good few weeks of eBay hunting to come across one that was in this kind of condition. The thing looks absolutely immaculate. Really nice. And this still goes for a fairly decent amount of money. So it wasn't easy to find one that was in good condition that I could also afford or was happy to shell the money out for. So I think this cost me about $30 thereabouts, somewhere along those lines, $25, $30. And yeah, I was really happy to score that and have it, especially in the condition that it's in. So GTA 5 physical edition, really nice. All right, another PC game. Well, another interesting collection, I should say. I'm going to show you this all comes in this huge sleeve cover, which I'll show you, and that is the Atari collection. Any guesses on what's inside here? I've never seen this before, ever. Never seen this slipcover, never seen this box set. So I was very surprised when I was hunting for particular games to come across this. Now there are four game cases inside this cover, which I'll pull out and show you. Two of them I already have. So that is Neverwinter Nights, as well as the Shadows of Undrentide expansion. So they were in there, but that's not why I bought it. The reason I bought it is for these. We have the Icewind Dale 3-in-1 collection and the Baldur's Gate 4-in-1 collection. So to get all of those in the one set, I mean, trying to find these old Forgotten Realms D&D games is a little bit of a mission these days, especially in this sort of condition, right? Baldur's Gate, the original sort of cardboard boxed copy of Baldur's Gate, the original Baldur's Gate, goes for hundreds of dollars these days. So I was, you know, in no real hurry to try and get a hold of that. But I did want some version of the game on my shelf. So there's the insides of Baldur's Gate. All the discs, I don't know if you can see it, but they're all stacked in there. I'm not going to pull them out. So this comes with Baldur's Gate, Tales of the Sword Coast, Baldur's Gate 2, as well as Baldur's Gate 2, Throne of Baal. And for Icewind Dale, we have much the same sort of setup, where we've got as many discs kind of jammed into this side of the case as we can fit, and then the extra one's just in a paper sleeve over here. Now, interesting story with these games. I don't actually like these games all that much. So why do I want them? Why do I want them on the shelves if I'm not a big fan? And I understand that's a bit of a sacrilegious thing to say, right? Like Baldur's Gate in particular is an incredibly well-loved PC game. Baldur's Gate 2 even more so. But I never got on. I've tried them all. I've tried all of the Forgotten Realms D&D games. In addition to these, what else was there? Planescape Torment, which I tried very recently. Temple of Elemental Evil was another one. I'm sure there's another one again that I'm forgetting that I also tried back in the day. And I tried them all. Like, sort of, a friend of mine was really into not just D&D, but the D&D PC games, and so lent me all of these games to try, and got increasingly disappointed when I brought them back, saying I didn't really like them. There's a couple of reasons why I didn't like them. I'm not a big fan of party-based RPGs. I like to just be, you know, Pokemon accepted. I like to just be me, right? Like, I like to be the character and control me and just have to worry about me. I don't like having to worry about an entire party's worth of stuff. I think that's why I got on with Neverwinter Nights really, really well, because it was just you, and you could take a follower with you if you wanted to, but you were under no compulsion to do so, which I really, really enjoyed, and that's why I played far, far, far more of that game than I ever did of these, and enjoyed it a lot more. I love the isometric perspective. I mean, these were also competing with Diablo 2 at the time they came out. They were never going to win that fight, you know. There's only so many gaming hours in a day, and if it wasn't Diablo 2, it wasn't really getting much of an opportunity with me at that particular point in time. The other thing I like is when I play D&D, I'm usually the DM, and that's the part of D&D that I really enjoy, is telling the stories, sharing the stories with my friends. So going along sort of with somebody else's story, like partaking in someone else's story, you know, I don't mind it playing D&D live, but when I'm playing it in a video game, it just, I don't know, I just don't get on with it quite as well as I do actually playing the tabletop role-playing game. So none of that is an explanation of why I wanted these D&D classics in my collection, and if I find the other D&D games, I will very happily snap them up and also put them into collection, even though I don't particularly like them either. The reason I want these is because they remind me of that period of my life where I discovered Dungeons and Dragons for the very first time. You know, I think I played these games before I played the tabletop role-playing game, and then around the same time got introduced to the RPG, and the rest is history, and now it's one of my, you know, favorite pastimes. So it sort of has these, when I see these, it takes me back to that period of time in my life where I was engaging in that sort of stuff, like getting into tabletop role-playing games, things like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, things like the White Wolf games like Hunter the Reckoning, stuff like that. That was all around this time where these were popular and in the zeitgeist. And so even though I don't like these games specifically, they do have their hooks into those other memories, and when I see them, I'm transported back to that period of time that I remember very, very, very fondly. So for that reason, I didn't mind Icewind Dale, brutally difficult, but I think Icewind Dale is probably the one I liked the most out of the ones that I tried. But yeah, definitely a lot of memories around these games, what they represented, where they fit into my life at the time, and so I wanted to try and get them for the shelf. So I was really happy that I could find a whole ton of them in just a couple of game cases, as well as all being collected together in this lovely, around the right way, Atari collection. There we go. You can see they all just fit in there nicely. So I'll keep, even though I already have Neverwinter Nights, I'll keep these all together because, again, like I said, I've never seen this Atari collection set before. I even went out of my way to go and actually try looking for it to see whether it was like had any value or was worth anything. I couldn't even find it when I was specifically trying to find it. So if you have ever seen or owned or heard of this, if you picked it up back in the day, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know if you owned this Atari box set, where you got it, and whether you liked what was in it. All right, so that is another collection of PC games. I've got one more PC game for the week, and that is a retro, maybe retro, a bit of cardboard, a bit of PC cardboard for the shelf, which I'm always a big fan of. This is a game probably nobody else has heard of or gives a shit about, but I fucking loved this game, man. It was so good, and that is Airfix's Dogfighter. Have you ever played this? Have you ever heard of this? This was the fucking shit, man. This was so good. So in Airfix Dogfighter, you are playing the little model aeroplanes, as you can see on the back there, made by Airfix. You would choose one of their model kits to fly, and then you would fly, as you can see on the cover, around in different rooms of a house, fighting other model planes, model tanks, ground troops, little sort of model ground troops, that sort of thing. And it was so good. Something I found really surprising too when I was looking at this box is it's actually made by Paradox, you know, which I found, if you can see in the bottom there, I did not know that. Not that I knew who Paradox was, back at the time when I played this. Let's crack it open and see what's inside. So it's got a massive manual. There we go. Huge book of a thing. It wasn't that complicated a game, so I can only assume, yes, that it is just a multi-language manual. And we go all the way to the front. So there's not that many pages, about 16, 20 pages, less than 20 pages of English. Telling you about the game, controls, what everything means. Oh man, this game was so good. This game was so good. And there's a little jewel case there. With that black disc that I remember so well. So this was a game that my brothers and my dad and I all played. Not together, I mean simultaneously. You know, we were all engaged with it, which only increased the memories for it. But yeah, this was such a good game. I would love to see something like this come back again. Yeah, just and the way that like it put different rooms of the house as the different levels. So you would be in the bathroom and you had to watch out for water hazards and things, and then you'd be in the lounge room, and then you'd be in a bedroom, and then a different bedroom out on the front porch, stuff like that. Like it was just so cool. The way it was done was just super duper cool. And the actual, you know, had very arcadey flying mechanics, which I'm a big fan of. Love an arcade flyer. Yeah, it just had everything going for it. And I didn't give a shit about model planes, right? Like, I did not collect model planes as a kid. Didn't care about model planes. My buddy Gary did. I wonder if he played this back in the day. I think he was more into, like, more modern jets, whereas this was sort of World War II era fighters, which I have much more of an appreciation for now as an adult. But back in the day, it was just like a plane with some guns on it. But yeah, great game. Really, really, really like an underappreciated gem, that one. So if you ever did play Airfix Dogfighter yourself, let me know. Because I don't know anybody else who owned, heard of, or played it. You know, nobody else I knew back and then had the game. It was just me. So I don't know where my dad found that one, but I'm very, very glad that he did, because that was a great one, and I was very happy to find that. Okay, that's it for the PC section. We've got two more things to go through. One is a collection of DVDs, and that's going to go with a something that I already picked up in the weeks gone. That was a huge nostalgia hit, and after finding that piece of memorabilia, it spawned the memory of this that I then went chasing and found this to go along with it. And that is the Street Fighter 2 animated series. This was so good, man. And I don't mean like, it's not the best anime in the world, don't get me wrong. It's like, if you stand back and look at it on a whole, it's a pretty shit anime, really. But I didn't really care. I loved it. And I still do. I still do love it. Flaws and all. So it's got like the arcade button discs. I think they all look the same. Yes, they do. So it's a multi-disc. How many discs have we got in here? 4 discs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 discs. The entire series. 29 episodes. Street Fighter 2. Is it Street Fighter 2 V? Is that what it was actually called? I think, if I remember right. I just call it the Street Fighter 2 anime. Yeah. When I picked up the movie on VHS, and I'm still going to try and find the movie on DVD to have as well. So I've got it in actual watchable form. I definitely immediately went looking for this box set as well. Again, not an easy thing to come across. Not an easy thing to find. And, you know, back then I did not watch it on DVD. It was VHSs, man. Like, I think, how many VHSs are in that series? It felt like a huge stack. I think it was 1 or 2 episodes per VHS, something along those sort of lines. So 29 episodes, a lot of VHSs. But man, we used to just rent those out repeatedly, and it was so good. And I did think about getting the VHSs to go along with my VHS movie, but I was like, fuck me, where am I going to put all of that? You know, no, I don't need that in my life. But I do want this in my life, so I got the DVD set, managed to track it down. Yeah, really, really happy with that one. Really cool. All right, and my very lucky last pickup off eBay for this week is another Nintendo 64 game, an iconic, huge hitter of a Nintendo 64 game. It's not one that was on my Grail list that I was chasing specifically, but when I saw it for a reasonable sort of price, got in touch with the seller. I made a deal with them that they were happy with and that I was happy with, and I feel like I got this for a really, really good deal, to be honest, and especially in the condition it was in. The photos that they had up didn't really show the condition very well, which is why I think I messaged them to see if we could do a bit more reasonable price than what they were asking, which was already pretty good. But when it showed up and it was in this sort of condition, yeah, I was thrilled. Now, the other reason that I managed to get a deal on this one is because it didn't initially have a manual. It was no manual, not complete in box. And that is Diddy Kong Racing. So Diddy Kong Racing is a game that I did not give enough love and time to back in the day on the 64 because it was in direct competition with Mario Kart. And Mario Kart was, as you know, if you've watched my Grail games or any of these videos, is a very, very Mario Kart 64 is a very special game to me. And much like anything competing with Diablo 2, anything competing with Mario Kart 64 was more often than not going to get compared unfavorably to that game. But this box, I mean, look at it. It is really, really nice. There's the back. Yeah, man. This is one I'd like to go back and play again. I really would. Because I do remember liking it. Like, I did like Diddy Kong Racing. I just didn't like it as much as Mario Kart, and I already owned Mario Kart, you see. I didn't own Diddy Kong Racing. It was a rental. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was fun. That was pretty good, but I've got Mario Kart right here. I never felt compelled to, pester my mum to go and buy Diddy Kong Racing. There's the cartridge in really, really good condition. And as I said, it didn't have a manual. It didn't have an insert. This is an aftermarket insert that I've added in. But I also managed to track down a manual separately that is in fucking perfect condition, man. Like, this thing is almost completely flawless, which is surprising given that it's, 25 years old or something at this point. Man, check out the art. Like, fuck. I've said it before. I fucking miss game manuals, man. I really, really do. Lovely full color stuff in here. And the first game in the sort of the kart racing genre to introduce different types of vehicles, way before Mario Kart decided to jump on that bandwagon. Diddy Kong Racing was already on it. A little bit more of a story mode to it as well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember rightly. Again, it's been so long since I played it. I do remember there being some kind of like a story and maybe like boss races or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. The memory ain't what it used to be. But yeah, one I'd like to go back and try. And given the price that I managed to get this for, that it was just a cart in a box, I still, with the insert and the manual, I pieced this together for way, way less than what a complete in-box copy goes for, and it's in way better condition than what, I don't know, pretty much any other Diddy Kong Racing complete in-box listing that I've seen. So I'm super duper happy with that. It was a massive, a Rare game. Rare could basically do no wrong on the 64. A huge hitter of the time, even though, like I said, I liked it, but I knew when I saw it for the price, and I could get it for the price that I got it for, I wanted it for the shelf because it is just such, again, an iconic title for the system. So there it is. Diddy Kong Racing, another one for the Nintendo 64 shelf, which, as you can see, that side behind me here, we are working on. I've got the haul from last time sitting in there. I'll have to do a little bit of work to try and see how we're going to organize these on the shelf, because I anticipate there being a lot more boxed copies of games coming in. But that's it. That's my eBay pickups for this week. If you have played or loved any of the things that I've shown you, make sure you leave a comment down below and let us know why you love them. Let us know some of your memories from these particular titles. I've got fantastic memories of all of these in multiple different ways, for multiple different reasons. But they're all games that I'm really, really happy to have on the shelf behind me. Which is starting to turn into a little bit of a almost like a photo book, isn't it? You know, like something that I sit back and look at and I just see all these different memories that are jumping out at me from different points in time. But that's the whole point of the exercise. So that's going to do it from me for this one. Thank you so much for hanging out and going through those with me. I hope that was fun. But otherwise, until next time, make sure you look after yourself and keep on side scrolling. Take it easy.